have a property tour, shall we? Brian Lebo here, and today we are out in South Summerlin. We're in Toll Brothers Mesa Ridge. We filmed a few in here before, but this is very unlike anything that we've shown you before. So we're in Viewpoint, two-story properties, one of two subdivisions in here that have the 2 stories. But this house has been completely gutted, completely reimagined, and today we're gonna unpack everything that's been done, changed from the original floor plan, because there's some pretty unique features. So like we normally do, we're gonna start off in the kitchen and we're gonna talk about the flooring along the way. So the entire main floor of the property consists of luxury vinyl plank flooring, and this is really an elevated level. When you're talking about luxury vinyl plank, they're not all created the same, just like with tile. You have ceramic tile, porcelain tile, large format. Here, the luxury vinyl plank, this is 9 inches by 72 inches long, and it's commercial grade. So if you have large dogs that are prone to scratching, this will be able to withstand all of it. And it's waterproof, so very nice. You can run into all the wet areas. Now for the kitchen. Now we can't have modern, contemporary design, of course, without having our double waterfall. But this is a beautiful and beautifully fabricated island. We do have this quartz counter surface. Because it's all custom fabricated, we do have a 3-inch edge profile. Once again, I said we have the double waterfall. But what's really cool is while it's 10 feet long, this is made out of a singular slab. So there's no seam, completely seamless, and everything is book matched. So depending on the angle that you look at, it just looks monolithic and beautiful. So let's come back here to the back of the kitchen. Let's talk about the cabinetry for a moment. Now, part of the remodel, there was $1 million that went into this remodel, and 200 grand went towards just the cabinetry. So this cabinetry was imported from Switzerland. It's a rift white oak, really, really, really popular looking, but of the highest quality. So take that for what you will. Now, on the back side of the island, once again, we have that same quartz that we saw on the island, same 3-inch edge profile, but you'll notice, so tastefully done. Instead of running the same quartz or running a decorative backsplash of a tile, here we have a beautiful slab of porcelain. It just offsets this so tastefully. It's not over the top. Love what they did there. Great design. Now, we also have our professional series 48-inch stove. So wonderful for your culinary chefs out there. But this is what I love. I love the framing of this. So while the cabinetry extends all the way 12 feet high to the ceiling, we do have this panel of cabinetry that's composed out of like this off-white satin veneer. And this perfectly sheaths the matching 48-inch ventilation hood over the stove. So I love that clean European design. Just they pulled it off so well. So much of the interior design of this property was so tastefully done. Back to the island side, we do have our undermount sink, we do have our plumbing hardware, but I love when they get it right. So right here from the sink, we have a perfect sight line of what would be the television and the family room over there. So when you are in the kitchen cooking, you're not displaced from the conversation going on in the family room. Really wonderful. That's the way I like to live. That's the way most people like to live now. We do have our Gen Air dishwasher, so we got that covered. And we have our undermount built-in microwave oven. I've mentioned this many times because people have asked, why is the microwave so low? This is actually great if you have small children because you don't have to worry about them on their tippy toes trying to get, a bowl of soup or something out of the microwave that's too tall, because it could spill on them. So here, a little bit safer, and it preserves that clean design aesthetic that we're going for. So, more cabinetry, symmetry on both sides, wonderful, but this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. So right here, I love this perspective, because from this perspective, we have basically an entire wall of cabinetry that is absolutely seamless, and it's just pinnacle of interior design. Again, extended all the way up 12 feet high, so you have tons and tons of storage. But here we have our built-in 72-inch GE monogram, beautiful refrigerator, again, fully paneled, fully sheathed. And this is where things really get interesting. So this is your pantry. Normally you would have a door and you'd have a normal pantry like we've ever seen, but step in here and see what they redid. So they reimagined this pantry as more of a chef's prep cooking kitchen. Over here we do have a sink. But what made this a little bit unique is this. On the back side of this wall is actually the bathroom that services the backyard, so your pool bathroom. It had a full walk-in shower. They deleted the shower and then pushed the wall back into the bathroom, which gave us about another 4 feet here to work with. So that extended the space, that allowed them to create this kitchen area as opposed to a more truncated, smaller pantry. But we do have one more built-in oven here, and we also have refrigeration. Love the floating shelves. We have that same porcelain backsplash that we saw in the kitchen, and we have undermount LED lighting in those custom floating shelves. So just a beautiful, beautiful kitchen, and you gotta love that prep kitchen. We're gonna step down this hallway for a little bit and check out a bedroom and check out the garage, because there's something in the garage I wanted to show you. We just have a normal linen closet over here, nice little alcove that you could use at your discretion. And downstairs we have 2 ensuite bedrooms. Really important if you have, older family members living with you, if you want an office downstairs, love that. So we have our walk-in closet over here to the right. Clearly you can see that this has been designed to be a flex room, a gym, but obviously it's still a bedroom, so you can use it for intended purpose. When we step down over here, again, I mentioned it was ensuite. All of the bedrooms are ensuite. Here we transition from the luxury vinyl plank flooring to a large format porcelain tile that looks like limestone, beautiful. Floating vanity, quartz counter surface, and then we have a beautiful custom shower that has been created in here. So now that we've seen the bedroom, we're gonna come around the corner to the left. Sometimes I show you the garage, sometimes I don't. I want to show you this garage because there's one feature in here that is very, very unique that you don't see virtually anywhere but Mesa Ridge. So we do have our epoxy flooring, pretty normal at this level. We do have our water softener system here, and we have 2 tankless water heaters, checking off pretty much everything on the list, right? But let's pan this direction in the 3-car garage, and let's focus on what I was gonna show you. So over here, you do have a NEMA 1450 plug if you do have an electric vehicle, but this is neat. So this storage locker system is designed for security purposes. Look, it may be overkill. You're living in a guard-gated community that's about as secure as it gets. But if you do have, say, an Amazon delivery that you're concerned about being poached from your front porch, they can actually access this locker externally from the entry to the house, put the package in here, now it's fully secured. When you come into the garage, now you can open up this system and retrieve any packages you have. So really, really a neat system, and almost makes more sense in less secure areas of town. Let's come back into the property and see what's going on in the family room. Okay, so over here, again, modern architecture, we need to have that relationship between indoor and outdoor living. And here we have a 22-foot long slider, and today is a perfect example. It's 70 degrees here in Vegas. It is absolutely just perfect to have this blown open, eat al fresco, do whatever you want. This is perfect for modern living, and they nailed this very, very well. Now, talking about the family room, first thing you notice is the double height ceiling. So it's about 25 feet high in this space, very voluminous, really wonderful. And here we have our media wall. So we have this large format tile, looks like travertine, very modern. We do have electrical for your display. And below, my personal favorite fireplace, here we have the electric Dimplex XL Ignite 72-inch. Again, I've looked at every single fireplace you can imagine. This is my favorite just because of its frameless design and the way it integrates. It's the closest thing that you see to high-end gas fireplaces. I absolutely love it. And when the weather's warm and you don't want the heat dispersion, it's nice to have the aesthetic without the heat. So let's talk about this dining room area. So love what they did here. So obviously, dining room area. Sometimes this can be closed in with glass and made into an office. Love what they did here. So we have that same Swiss rift wood for the cabinetry. We have the same quartz counter surface, but here I love the design factor. They took the rift wood and they made this into a designer feature by framing in this whole alcove area. Really, really love what they did. You notice it immediately when you walk in here. Now let's come down this direction a little bit farther. We're gonna get towards the front door, but first we're gonna check out this powder bathroom and then a bedroom. So Right off of the main living area, we do have our half bathroom, or our powder bathroom for those Victorian folks out there. Beautiful luxury designer wallpaper. We have our skirted toilet, the same floating vanity that we saw in the bathrooms with the same quartz counter surface. Perfect, perfect. We do have our coat closet. This also stores the smart panel. There are speakers throughout the home, so you do have the option for distributed audio as well. We'll talk about this in a moment, but let's jump ahead to this bedroom. I love having a bedroom in the front of the house because just like they set this up, this is perfect for an executive office. You've got an abundance of windows, 6 windows overlooking the front. So this is a great way to be able to work and keep an eye on what's going on the property. Over here around the corner, this is where we have a walk-in closet. And then once again, very similar with the bathroom, we transition into the large format tile. We have a beautiful shower, and this shower is actually a perfect transition. It's a curbless shower, very, very nice, very high end. Now let's coil back. Let's talk about this front door for just a brief moment. The property, when it was purchased, came with your normal, just traditional front door, nothing glamorous, nothing exciting. Reframed everything and put in this brand new pivot door, which definitely makes it a little bit more modern from an aesthetic standpoint. Finally, we're gonna end up over in this space because this has been completely reimagined. So first off, we have this beautiful floating staircase, very modern, very lovely. But originally this had kind of like a cherry finish to it, not very modern. They went ahead and restained, refinished everything, so now it's seamless in its design. And then they created this dry bar. So you'll see the elevated portion here and the beautiful craftsmanship. This is created out of that same porcelain that we saw utilized as the backsplash. And there's the juxtaposition here with that same quartz that we saw on the counter surface. But by creating this dry bar, it allowed them to create a little bit more storage. We also have another refrigerator here, say for your white wines, your red wines, or any other beverages. And then this was a great use of space. So over here, they created these alcoves, and this allows you the opportunity to have a really large chiller for all of your wines. Very pragmatic, very wonderful, and it comes right off of this fan room area. All right, guys, we have now seen the entire main floor of the property. Meet me upstairs. Let's check out the primary suite and see what else is going on up there. All right, guys, welcome to the second floor. So over here on this side, we're overlooking the entry. And over here, I love this perspective because this is overlooking the family room, the kitchen, and you have beautiful views of the Las Vegas Strip. Partial views, but nonetheless, you can see the Strip from here, which also was a good time to talk about windows, everyone's favorite sexy subject. But it's important because for most people, they don't understand that in Mesa Ridge, there was a class action lawsuit that took place regarding windows. The problem there is that some owners decided to retrofit all the windows, whether they were faulty or not, whereas others actually took a cash payout. The owner of this property originally took the cash payout, so when the current owner came in and decided to remodel, they had to replace every single window in the entire home. So all of these homes, all of this home has been completely replaced with all brand new top of the line windows, which leads me to another interesting one. So right here where you see this painting, this originally was a window, but this offered no privacy because this window looked directly into the neighbor's home. And now with that window deletion, you have pretty much absolute privacy with all of these windows. So really, really neat. All right, I love this landing area just because you really get to survey the entire house and the floor plan. But let's come down this direction. We're gonna start off in this loft area, check out a couple of the secondary bedrooms because there's 2 secondary bedrooms up here, and then we're gonna finish off in the primary suite. So over here on the left, this brings us to the laundry room. So we have the same quartz counter surface that we've seen over and over, this beautiful designer ceramic tile backsplash. We have a floating shelf here, but what's really neat is hidden in this cove of this floating shelf is actually a rack. So you can use this to hang dry all of your clothes without having an unsightly rail coming across. Well thought out, beautiful undermount sink, and of course, we have our washer, dryer, and then over here we have a really, really large linen closet. So a perfect laundry room. Coming over into this area, we have a little loft area. So whether you wanted to make this a little viewing area for the kids, maybe a study desk area, you can do that. We have our designer accent wall with our wooded slats. very popular. But let's check out the two secondary bedrooms, one on each side of the front of the property. So coming over here on the left side, perfect secondary bedroom. We have 9-foot high ceilings, 6 windows that just creates a ton of natural light, beautiful views of the mesa. And this actually has a pretty unique bathroom. So you walk into the bathroom to access the walk-in closet. And then when you're in the bathroom here, you do have your skirted toilet, and this bathroom actually has a bathtub. So if you have small children, if you want to wash the fur babies, this is where you're going to actually use that bathroom. Directly across the hallway is another bedroom, but first, this is a great space. We do have a covered balcony, accent on covered. You know, it's Vegas, there's some pretty intense sun and heat, so it's nice to have a balcony that's covered. And once again, you have views of the mesa beyond all the other properties in Mesa Ridge. Really, really nice. Coming into the secondary bedroom, similar windows array, same beautiful views. From here, you can see all the way into Red Rock Canyon. Really wonderful. We have direct access to the walk-in closet. And then once again, we have more of what we've seen before, floating vanity, large format tile, and we have our walk-in shower. Perfect secondary bedrooms. Now that we've seen the secondaries, let's go around, let's check out the primary suite in the back of the property. All right, now let's check out the primary suite. So walking into the primary suite, the first thing that you notice is this massive slider. So here we have an 11-foot long slider. And again, on a day like today, when it's perfect weather, this is a great place to come out, have your morning coffee. And I love what they did design-wise, very difficult to pull off. We transitioned from the luxury vinyl plank that we've seen throughout the main property into this tile skeuomorphic look. So it's tile that looks like wood, and it's very similar. You really don't even notice that transition. Is beautiful. And once again, we have another covered balcony. We have a ceiling fan, and here you can really appreciate all of the strip views from the stratosphere all the way down to Allegiant Stadium. Really wonderful. Like we mentioned earlier, we do have speakers throughout the home. So we have 2 speakers here for distributed audio, or if you wanted to keep it local in this room, you could just have surround sound function as well. Heading towards the bathroom, love what they did here. We have our little morning breakfast bar. So we do have refrigeration if you want some chilled water first thing out of bed or last thing at night. And we have this beautiful counter. So if you have like a tabletop espresso maker, coffee maker, you can put it right here. You're good to go. And we have plenty of storage as well. But now let's check out the bathroom, because this is a sensational bathroom. Earlier, I mentioned the luxury vinyl plank flooring is waterproof, so that allows you to have a seamless transition from the entire main floor, the bedroom, into the wet area here in the bathroom. So beautiful. Behind me here is a lovely floating bathtub, and we have this beautiful accent wall with this like mosaic ceramic tile for 3 walls here. I love symmetry, and this is no exception. His and her vanities are completely identical, but one thing that's kind of neat is over here, because everything is fully custom fabricated, here we have a 5-inch edge profile for the counter surface. Same course that we've seen, same floating vanities, downfiring LED illumination, wonderful. But now let's get into something that we've never shown on the channel before. Really cool feature, and god awfully expensive. I want to say it was like a $25,000 shower system. Let that sink in. But this is really cool. So if you're really into olfactory senses, you guys are gonna love this. So this shower is incredible, and it is a steam shower, but this is the difference. You pop open this panel, and this reveals the Mr. Steam Aroma Steam. So you can see there's a pretty large container here, and it's eucalyptus oil. So when you're taking your steam shower or enjoying your shower, you can pipe in eucalyptus, lavender, whatever your desire is, right there in the shower, and really truly immerse yourself in that spa-like experience. Wonderful. Before you even get to the shower, you're greeted by this landing zone. You even have a little bench seat, beautiful designer tile that goes into the shower. We have marble brick-laid floors. Sensational. We even have this new bamboo looking style tile for the ceiling that goes into the shower as well. Stepping into the shower, the marble flooring here, we've got our linear drain, we've got a linear steam function there. We have our 6 body washers, we have our beautiful shower head. We do have a rainfall shower head. On top of that, you'll notice here we have a bench seat. So while you could sit, shave your legs, do whatever you need to do, you can also actually lay down on this bench seat. And right here, this display can actually play television. So you could actually steam in here, watch some game highlights from the night before, pipe in your eucalyptus steam, and you even have a speaker for the sound. Beautiful shower niche, and we even have our handheld. And this is all controlled off of the Kohler Smart Valve system. Just an absolutely sensational shower. One of the best showers that we've ever shown on this channel. And again, this is so unique. Now, one thing that I want to highlight, at a certain level, it's important to have his and her water closets. So you'll notice on the right and the left side are his and her separate water closets, and they both have top of the line washlet toilets. Perfect, perfect. So now let's come in here, let's check out the closet before we wrap up the inside of the home. Coming into the closet, we have this beautiful custom closet that was designed by Classy Closets. Everything you would want, LED illumination inside all the cabinetry, very spacious, wonderful closet. All right, guys, we've seen the downstairs, we've seen the upstairs. Now it's time for the grand finale. We got to check out this incredible backyard. It was $400,000 just for the backyard alone. So let's see what they did with that 400 grand. All right, guys, welcome to the backyard. So through the 22-foot long slider, we get to the covered patio here. 12-foot high ceilings here in the patio. We've got recessed lighting, of course, but we also have electrical for 3 ceiling fans, create a nice little breeze on those perfect days. We have beautiful marble flooring for this entire patio area. And then coming down this direction, obviously you can see this is set up for some dining al fresco, perfect for the daylight today. Love the fact that on this wall, you do have electrical, so you could actually put a display here. So if you wanted to eat, watch the game, watch an event, you can do that here. But follow me, there's a much better place for that coming up. Now, remember when we were talking about the pantry and how they elongated the pantry by deleting the shower? This is the outdoor bathroom that we were talking about. Because this is such a great entertaining backyard, it does kind of make some sense to have this bathroom. Beautiful, beautiful designer tile all the way up to the 12-foot high ceilings. And this wall right here is where the walk-in shower used to be. But even this, all custom cabinetry, just beautiful, beautiful. All right, enough of the outdoor bathroom. Let's see this. This is the view that we're talking about. So this backyard, according to the owner, $400,000 was spent creating this unbelievable backyard. We'll get to the pool here in a little bit. I'll tell you more about that. But this I absolutely love. So when we step down these 3 steps, we get to this large format limestone flooring. And this is a great outdoor kitchen. Again, we are still in Vegas, so you're gonna get that intense hot summer days. Nothing worse than barbecuing and having that sun just beat down on you. So it is wonderful that above us, we do have a shaded cover. We even have a ceiling fan, so wonderful. We've got our top of the line Coyote grill. We have our burners. We have our sink, and it's all beset by this beautiful sheathing of slab porcelain. Love that integration, love it. But one thing that's really neat is when we come down here a little bit farther, we have a swim up bar. So we have 4 bar stool seats in the pool. So your friends can swim right up, you can hand them drinks. Kind of feels like you're in a resort. Really love what they did here. Over here, you can see we have a Baja shelf. And even in the Baja shelf, we have a hole so you can put an umbrella. So if you're like me and you're not necessarily trying to work on your tan, you can have a little bit of shade, immerse yourself in the water. Beautiful. Perfect symmetry. We have the Baja shelves on both sides, and in between we have this beautiful elevated jacuzzi, Quattro Infinity, so it cascades off of all 4 corners. And let's talk about the pool in general. This pool was literally just completed recently, and this is 1,000 surface area feet of water, which you cannot actually get a permit for anymore because the current limit is 600. But that permit had been pulled years before. So this pool was grandfathered in, which is why they were able to build a brand new 1,000 square foot pool. And this looks absolutely wonderful. Coming down here a little bit farther, this is so neat. So here, creating that perfect symmetry on both sides, while we have the outdoor kitchen on the right. On the left here, we have our sunken conversation pit. So again, that limestone large format tile. We've got that porcelain that was creating the outdoor kitchen island. Here, this creates that fire feature for the conversation pit. Over here on the right side, we have additional bar stool seating because of course we have to have the symmetry. So you can swim up to the conversation pit. Artificial turf for all the fur babies, some chaise lounges to get a little sun. But this is arguably one of my favorite features of the entire property. As we step down into this area, once again, we have the large format limestone. We have integrated seating because right here, this was designed to be a display wall. So we have that same porcelain that we saw on both sides in the outdoor kitchen and the conversation pit. Here you can see it's perfectly book matched, but it's hiding electrical behind it. So whether you wanted to put a 100-inch display or there is electrical above, you could actually have a projector. How awesome would this be to be able to, on a day like today, come out, watch the game here, be swimming in the pool, be able to watch everything from here. Just such a cool area. And it's pretty far away from the main dwelling, so no matter how loud it gets here, you're not really infringing on the inside of the property. All right, guys, I always read your comments and I'm dying to hear what you guys think. For just over $4 million, is this property worth all of the upgrades, the $1 million in remodeling, or would you rather save the money and get something a little bit more basic? This is incredible. This is easily the nicest home in all of Viewpoint here in Mesa Ridge. Sensational. Well, special thanks to Peyton for allowing me to film this incredible listing. Congratulations, pal. I always read your comments, so again, leave those comments. Let me hear what you have to say. Be sure to like, be sure to subscribe. I will see you guys on the next one. Deuces.